So question 12, which we can see here. Right, the diagram shows a graph of the function fx equals minus 3x squared. That's why it starts above the axis. It showed that anyway. And then across the axis at a, 4, 2, and 4. So this obviously means that this part is a, and a is not a whole number, it's a fraction of some variety, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to try and figure out what is the other value, okay? So it should be relatively easy to do. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to just get rid of this for a start. Alright, now we're ready to go. Alright, I have two factors, don't I? What are the two factors? I know 2, 0 and 4, 0, don't I? What happens if I just input them in? I think I might be able to find out what B is very quickly, won't I? So let's find out. What's F0, F2? Replace all x's with 2's. What has to happen? Has to equal 0. Why does it have to equal 0? It's a root and the y value will equal 0, okay? So I'll put all these in. It has to equal 0. Now anybody really quickly in the calculator, what's all that there? That's minus 24. 4 times 17 is 68. 2b, then minus 8, like so. Then what I'm thinking is we have 2b. 68 take away 32 is 36. Then I'm going to get 2b equals minus 36 and b equals minus 18. Would there be any way of checking that really quickly? What could you do in your calculator? You could do your table function with minus 3x cubed. You could put plus 17x squared in. You could do bx, which is now minus 18x. And if the points in the calculator match those on the graph, you know you haven't made a mistake. So it's a great way of checking. I'll just do minus 5 to plus 5. And what do we see there? 0 minus 8, roughly. 2, 0 and 4, 0. The points check out. This is definitely the correct answer. Now, how do I find the next thing? I now know the equation is this. Minus 3x squared plus 17x squared minus 18x. And what's the other thing? Minus 8. Now, I know two factors, don't I? What two factors do I know? Oh, sorry, what two roots do I know first? What are the two roots I know? X equals 2 and x equals 4. So what does that mean? X minus 2 equals 0 and x minus 4 equals 0 will also work. Just make sure the maths are covering the nose, gents. Okay, thank you. Now, next thing, what happens when you multiply them by each other? What happens when you multiply two of these by each other? What do you get? X squared minus 6x plus 8. We know that that has to divide in equally because x minus 2 is a root and x minus 4 is a root. That means when you multiply the two of them by each other, they will also be, sorry, x minus 2 is a factor, x minus 4 is a factor. When you multiply two factors by each other, they will also divide into the original number. For those of you that don't know what I'm saying is 2 and 3 are a factor of 12, but 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, and 6 will still divide into 12. That's essentially what I did. Okay? Now let's long divide this in, and what do we get? Anybody? Minus 3x, and we get, what's it, minus 3x squared plus 18x squared minus 24x. And then change it into a plus minus plus, and what we're going to get is minus 1x squared plus 6x, take away 8, and what can we say there? How many times does it go in? Huh? Minus 1. You multiply it out, then you take it away by changing the signs, and you get 0. So what does that mean the other factor is? Minus 3x minus 1 is the other factor. Put it equal to 0. What do we get? Minus 1 equals 3x, and x will equal minus 1/3. Now what's great as well? That is actually roughly minus 1/3. It's just below the halfway line. So you know you're correct. How many people got that one out? Good job. Okay. Box has dimensions x, x plus 1, and x minus 1 as shown. Find the volume of the box. Well, that's very easy. It's length multiplied by width multiplied by height. Volume equals x times x minus 1 times x plus 1. And if I was to multiply this out, it would be x by x squared minus 1, because it's the difference of two squares, which would be x cubed minus 1x. Did anybody get x cubed minus 1x? Right. The volume of the box is 24. This implies that x cubed minus 1x equals 24. Implies x cubed minus 1x minus 24 equals 0. If the volume of the box is 24, using the factor theorem, find the values of x. Okay. Everybody familiar with the trial and error approach? What would I have to do? Everybody familiar with the trial and error approach? You try all the factors of minus 24. Minus 1. What else do you try? Plus 1. Minus 2. Plus 2. Minus 3. Plus 3. And what you constantly do is you constantly insert them into the x until you find which one works. Is that what we do? What do we do? Calculate our function, and we just narrow it down straight away. So we're going to get x cubed minus 1x. So I'll get rid of all this. Is there any need for negative x values in this? Should I put in a negative x value? Should I start at minus 10? If not, why not? Why can the x value not be negative? The height is x. You cannot have negative height. So I'm going to go from 0 to 20. See what happens. There we go, straight away. I found out it's 3, 0. Does that make sense? Any other zeros? I don't think so. There's no other zeros. So I know straight away it should be F3. Bit of a cheat of a question, to be honest. Yeah, you're done. That's it. So, I see 3 points already. Here are the 3 points I'm familiar with. I think minus 2, 0 will be a point. How do we know that? If x plus 2 is a factor, x equals minus 2 is a root. What about the next one? X equals 1, so that'll be the point. 1, 0, and then x equals plus 3, and that'll be the point. 3, 0. I already know where it crosses the axis in all 3 cases, okay? Next thing I'm going to do is find out what f0 is. So how do you find out what f0 is? What happens when you replace all x's with zeros? What happens? 2 times minus 1 times 3, which is? Yeah. 2 minuses. So plus 6. What point is that then? 0. 6. Alright, let's do a half now. So what's f a half? Half plus 2. A half take away 1. And a half take away 3. Anybody got the answer for that when you lob it all into the calculator? What? 3.125? Okay. And finally, anybody have the answer for f2? When we replace all x's with 2's. So that is a half. 3.125. What's the next point? 2 minus 4. Okay. Happy days, yeah? Now, I'm going to take this graph here. Maybe just keep it here for a second. So, alright, let's draw this graph. Make it a bit larger. Alright. So, all these points here. And it just says a sketch, doesn't it? What does a sketch mean compared to draw the graph? Does it have to be a work of art? It doesn't have to be amazing. It just has to be hard. So, what's the highest y value I need? What's the largest y value I need? Largest y value I need is 6. What's the lowest y value I need? I need minus 4, don't I? So I need 4 blocks there. Now the x values are slightly different. I'm going to space out the x values so it's worth 2 like this. This makes it a bit better. Now the y values are going to be 1 to 1. So it means that would be 2, 4, 6, 8. That's minus 2, minus 4. Everybody cool with that? Alright, let's draw the graph. Minus 2, 0 there. 1, 0 here. 3, 0 here. 0, 6 here. And what other points do I have? A half and 3.125, so a half and around there. What's the other one it wants me for? 2 and minus 4. We can see the minimum there, can't we? Everybody cool with that? And then just goes back up again. Is there anything in the test stopping you from cheating? From just putting it into your full table function and getting extra points? Is there anything stopping you? No. You can do that if you want. I don't know. See, I don't know. Does it do this? That looks wrong, doesn't it? It looks like it should go slightly higher, doesn't it? So, in a test, because I'm used to using the calculator, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to lob it into the calculator again. And I'm going to just get bracket x plus 2, x minus 1, and open bracket x minus 3. I'll do it from, minus 4 to plus 6. Oh, sorry. There. Minus 4 plus 6, 1. And minus 1/8. There we go. That's the point. That makes more sense to me. Minus 1/8. We're technically not meant to have that, but we have it now. Minus 1/8 and minus 2, 0. That's perfect to me. So it means I go up here, a bit more of a curve, and then back down again. So it should look something like that. Obviously drawn a bit better. Yeah? There we go. Alright. Did I give you any other questions for homework? Alright guys, volume of a cylinder is given by the formula pi r squared h, where r is the radius and h is the height. Given the diameter is equal to the height. Alright, that's great. So, diameter, which is equal to 2 times the radius, equals height. This implies that your radius equals, anybody? Height over 2. Everybody cool with that? What's the volume of your cylinder then? Pi r squared h. So what do we get here then? Pi times h over 2 squared, and then h there, yeah? Which is pi h squared over 4 times h. And what would that finally be equal to? What's h squared times h1? h3. And what's on the outside? Excuse me. Pi over 4. Oh, wrong colour. That. So, what does that imply A equals? Ah, crap. But it tells me one other thing, doesn't it? Take pi as 3.14, so what will I have to do then? 3.14 divided by 4, Phelan. Volume equals 3.14 divided by 4. 0.785 h cubed. So that's your A value right there, isn't it? Yes.
What does A over 4? Is that pi?
Here's pi over 4 times h cubed. Now, it says 2 places decimals fail them, so we're going to have to use A equals 0.79, yeah. Using this function, calculate the volume of the cylinder with a diameter of 11. That's easy. If the diameter is 11, what's the height? 11. So what do I do with my formula? It's now 0.79 h cubed. So what do we replace h with? Huh? 11. 0.79 times 11 cubed. And what's the answer? Somebody, calculator time. 0.79 times 11 cubed. 1051.49. Centimeters cubed. Alright, I'll pause there. Any questions for me? Find the diameter of a cylinder whose volume is this much. Correct to one place of decimals. Well, it says in the description that the diameter is the same as the height. So we find the height, we find the diameter. What formula are we currently using? Which one is it? We're using, if you read the description of the question, we are using this one here. Because it says it only wanted A to 2 decimal places. Okay, what do I put this equal to? 215.58. Would somebody be so nice as to divide 215.58 by 0.79? Tell me what you get. I think it might go unevenly. Can you give it to you in fractions, please? 21,000, sorry? Alright, sorry, it's not meant to go unevenly because it says to one place of decimals, isn't it? So cube root that number. If h cubed, what number when you multiply it by itself 3 times gives you that fraction? So you press shift, cube root. The cube root tells you what this number will be. So it's 21558 divided by 79. The answer should be 6.5. H equals 6.5 centimeters. That was a considerably easier question than I was expecting by the description. The description looked ridiculous, but if you look at the height and the diameter being the same, it actually comes out quite nicely. Alright. I don't think the next one's like that. Alright, question 16. There it is there. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is just underline keywords, okay, when you're going through this one. Spherical container, radius 3. Completely fit inside a cube of side x. So, if the volume of a sphere is given by the formula this here, interesting that, where x is the radius. Oh man, it's a terrible question. It's a horribly worded question. Huh? Oh, approximately equal. So, not exactly equal. So, if you put 4/3 in your calculator, 4/3 pi. See the way it's 4.1887? It's not exactly 4.19. So, this little symbol here, that you're all worried about, it just means it's roughly equal to 4.19, but not exactly equal to 4.19. Everybody cool with that? Where x is the radius. Using cubic graphs, find the approximate value for x, the length of the side of the cube. At what approximate value of x would the volume of a sphere be greater than, be 180 centimeters cubed greater than the volume of the cube? Given that they're the same. They're the same size. Oh, it's so annoying. Alright. The description of the question. This is one of the toughest questions I've done in a while, okay? It's because I'm finding the description so difficult to understand is the real problem, okay? Now, alright. Alright. So why I think what this means is the content. So imagine I filled it full of, imagine it was like a water balloon, a football filled full of water. Everybody cool with that? Alright? And it says the word contents, doesn't it? So I was to take all the water from that balloon, what would happen then? I could fill up a cube. All the water in my balloon would fill up this cube. Does that make sense? Whoa. Does anybody have a different interpretation of that question other than the interpretation I just gave you? What does it mean by contents, anyway? The contents of a spherical container of radius 3 completely fill a cube of side x. To me, that means what? Volume is contents, yeah? And fill is volume. So, this would be 3, this is a radius of 3, this is a volume of x. So what does that mean about the volume of the cube? The volume of the cube is x cubed. Everybody cool with that? Now here's where the question starts to confuse me big time. If the volume of the sphere is given by the formula 4/3 pi x cubed, has it not just said that the volume of this sphere is a radius 3? So is it not 4/3 pi 3 cubed? Is that not the volume of the sphere? Does it not say it at the top? That it should be 3, not x. So what I'm going to do is